Alright, kind of an amusing challenge today. What we're going to try and do is build a team that uses both Blueberry and Donut. Now these are two of the least seen perks in customs, and it's not surprising. Even though both of them are free to play, they're not very good, and so no one ever takes them. So we're going to get Blueberry shortly, and I'll explain what it does if you're not aware. So here it is. I'm putting it on the sneaky egg for a good reason. But what it does is it forces opposing random abilities to target that particular unit. So in this case, it makes a lot of sense with putting it on the sneaky egg, because the sneaky egg is going to feint itself at start of battle. So hopefully opposing teams are going to have units like Lynx, or maybe even something like Bat. And those random abilities, as long as they have higher attack than the sneaky egg, are going to waste their targets on the Blueberry unit. And because Sneaky Egg appears with decent attack but not very good health, we're going to take the Sea Turtle, and that's going to boost up the health, and hopefully we can look for some of the other summon support units later that will hopefully make the cracked egg that appears out of the Sneaky Egg a little bit stronger. I also take the Sea Turtle because we're looking for another unit that's going to make use of the Donut. I can't remember exactly where we get it in this run. Now I do have Broccoli as well. I used it on the Sea Turtle there, but the idea behind that is reducing the attack on the Sneaky Egg down to a minimum, and so it will go last before the opposing snipes or ailment spreaders. So the other thing we're looking for is Donut, and Donut is the reverse of Blueberry. So it means that friendly random abilities will automatically target that unit. And the most common application for it originally was in a buy-sell team. So what you would do is you would have a bunch of starfish, which used to have the ability from sea anemone, and you would put Donut on the unit that you wanted to get all the buffs from the starfish. And that meant that the starfish would always hit that unit, and so it would get to maxed out stats very quickly. Then you could put a different perk on it, and then put a Donut on another unit, and so on and so forth. That really isn't very good anymore. I mean, you can still do it, I guess, but it's kind of become a little bit pointless because of the change to the way the scaling works in this game. So way back, it used to be that when a unit reached 50-50, it could still be buffed by its teammates. And so random units like Starfish could end up wasting their buffs on units that were already maxed out. So they changed that so that universally, units that have hit 50-50, they get passed over for random buffs. So that kind of left Donut with very little to do. I guess the only thing really that you would commonly see it for now, and I don't really know how often I've seen anyone doing this, is to use the Donut to control where the peanut from a walrus goes. So walrus is a random ability. It passes a peanut to a random friend behind, and if you put Donut on a unit, then the peanut will guarantee go onto that pet. And so you can make it so that your walrus gives peanut to a seagull guaranteed, and then the seagull passes the peanut out to other pets. That's probably something that you see more often in random weeklies if you happen to get walrus and donut at the same time. But in customs, it's almost never seen at all. So I had something else in mind. Originally, I was going to have donut on multiple units so that skeleton dog would guarantee buff them. There aren't that many abilities that can really be affected by donut, and I thought that Skeleton Dog was a decent idea. I will show some clips at the end which involved Skeleton Dog. That was my main focus, but it was becoming a bit of a problem to actually get a usable run, and so I decided to move away from that a little bit. So actually we do have Skeleton Dog here, but we don't need any donuts because it's just going to buff the turkey and the sea turtle every time anyway. So we need to find another unit, and because we've got the turkey now, we can actually pivot into that unit much more easily. And we freeze the donut because we are going to need it. And probably there I should have just sold the skeleton dog and then brought the turkey in separately. But we're also going to use the drink me liquid to reduce the attack on the sneaky egg, and there we go. We can see it in action. The opposing lynx hits the blueberry unit and the snipe damage is completely wasted. So when you see something like that, it kind of makes you wonder, is it actually pretty decent? But the reality is that most of the time, if you face a snipe team, they will have so many snipes that the blueberry is completely ineffective. And that was definitely the case in many of these runs where I would get multiple hits onto the sneaky egg, from leopard or lynx, but my whole team would just get wiped anyway. Lynx, for instance, lynx and leopard both, when they're maxed out on levels, they're guaranteed to hit 3 different units. So that means that really you would have to have 3 blueberries to guarantee where the snipes go, and that obviously doesn't make any sense at all. So we got the falcon, and the falcon was the main sort of carry unit that I was trying to use in many of these runs. I guess the turkey here is probably a bit more important. But with the anteater on board and the donut on the falcon, that means that both of the random buffs from the ants will actually hit the falcon every time. And that was one of the only things I could think of, especially using the early game pets, where using a donut would actually make some kind of sense. And here we face a pretty nasty looking Jersey Devil team, and the falcon is actually going to gain enough stats from the ants to summon a tardigrade on our side. And with the buffs from the sea turtle and the turkey, we actually managed to knock out one of their units and get the win. So we're actually on 9 trophies turn 12 with 5 hearts intact. We did lose way back at the beginning, but we do still have 5 hearts, which is incredibly rare to get into this situation, playing blueberry and donut. Here maybe I could have gone for the level up on the sneaky egg instead of the turkey, but given how many times I'd lost, I was pretty desperate to get the turkey to level 3. And then here we end up facing this completely bizarre team where they have all the buffs stacked onto the level 3 porcupine. And actually here, the porcupine, although it gets hit so many times, it doesn't get to trigger at all. And neither does the one that gets spawned by the falcon. So very unusual final battle there. It didn't really show off the 2 combos as much as I wanted it to. But we'll show a couple of clips here as well from other runs where it didn't quite work out. So here you can see we have the double donut with the skeleton dog. So we're getting double value from the donut, applying the buffs from skeleton dog and then also the ant hits from the anteater. So that puts us on 8 in this particular run. I've also got Mandrake. I was trying to do this with as many interesting abilities as possible, and the skeleton dog being the only real scaling other than occasionally buying some food. It is actually incredibly wasteful when you're buying the broccoli and drink me liquid to reduce the stats or reduce the attack on the sneaky egg. And actually in this battle you can see it work. The leopard there hit the sneaky egg before it summoned the cracked egg and resulted in the snipe going completely to waste. Actually, this is Wisp from the Discord. So we do win there, and this one puts us on to 9. And I think we're going to end up seeing a team from earlier in the video make another appearance. I think here I'm just rolling to try and get the Mandrake maxed out so that we're guaranteed to hit something. You actually quite often face teams that have all tier 5s and 6s. And here is, the exact same Jersey Devil plus Tardigrade team. This might be on a slightly later turn, so they're maybe a little bit stronger. And again, the same thing's going to happen where we end up copying a tardigrade of our own, which breaks the lemon on the frigate bird, but we barely don't have enough attack to knock it out. That was a close one, but I ended up getting crushed after that. Every single opposing team was just massive scaling. Now this is hilarious here. This is a goblin shark team that had seaweed, so they wanted to delete my unit. We applied dazed to them, but actually that has exactly the same effect. The dazed goblin shark won't release the pet that it swallowed. And then lastly here is a run where everything completely broke down. I didn't find any of the stuff I really wanted. So we've just got a scaling high roll with Penguin, Penguin, one of my least taken units in customs, but I put it in there because it does have a random buffing effect. You know, if you have 3 level 2s, the Penguin can actually be affected by Donut. You never see anyone do that though. I mean, it just doesn't really make any sense. And we end up facing this team with Spinosaurus. And although it looked like we were in great shape there, the mammoth that gets summoned are absolutely massive. And I think we only won as a result of the Mana Snipe killing the Spino at the end there. But I thought I might as well include this since we did end up getting the Mandrake ribbon as well.